More plays. How much sticks did I get? I already got like 4.
Maybe like 5.
Okay.
Hello.
How do you do it?
And welcome to A Shot of Whiskey 5. What up?
Is he like 1 and 3 now? But first to last, Aggie. Count Belichick is fantasy football. Boom. Lindsay, where's my meatloaf?
We were aggressive in the trade market. We got ourselves some stellar players. Baby, can I get my drink? Let me get a little sip.
Yeah, okay.
About to go do some fishing. Gonna catch me a big old marlin over there in that pond in the neighborhood. How are you supposed to get big time points when your quarterback doesn't hand the ball off to your running back?
Sam here for A Shot of Whiskey News with a microphone that is definitely plugged in.
Appreciate the almost weekly videos by our great commissioner. But I am trying to own my Howley and saying that I am connected.
Three-time champion. I'm usually pretty humble, but I am the king.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we got a crazy show ahead of you. And we will have a special guest. Yeah, we'll have a special guest. But first, let's take a look at the scoreboard. Probably the surprise of the week was Deuce Dre beating up on the Jaeger Bombs. Jaeger Bombs was able to take advantage of the new rule change and make a little tight one out of it, but Kerryon Williams and Mostert and Henry was just too much to overcome. Deuce Dre looking good at 2-0. Ballers over Poop Deck. Ballers are now 1-1. Poop Deck 0-2. It's 2 straight weeks Poop Decks are struggling. However, good days are ahead. We got 28 from Smith, 18 from Walker, 17 from Marquise. So they do have a lot of potential there. Island Howley 156 to 105 over the Aztec Warriors. Warriors are now 0-2. They did have a pretty solid outing, definitely a good solid outing out of Russell Wilson and Connor. But Allen Evans and Herbert were just too much to overcome. Team Michael is one of the 3 undefeated teams. Got a solid victory over Soldier Fields, 157 to 95, behind Cousins, Smith, and Cook. Reynolds, Fields, and Cooper were the lead scorers for Soldier Fields. Tickle My Pickle also seem to be the best team in the league right now. They are 2-0. 27 behind Barkley, even though he's out now. We'll see how that goes. Mahomes and Jefferson. Dak Picks struggling with 0-2, and they did make a crazy trade this week. We will get to that later. King Dinglings, a week after putting up only like 105 points, stormed the show and got 185. Good pickup by picking up Nakua, who they threw in for this week. Allen and McCaffrey, stellar as always. Belichick, one of the top potential finalists in this league this year, put up 163. Would have been anyone besides Tickle and the team they played. Well, that was the scoreboard. Let's now take a look at the standings. Week 2 is over, and we have 3 teams that are 2-0, still chasing that undefeated record. We got 3 teams 0-2, still chasing that defeated record. All the other teams discount through Soldier, falling in at 1-1. We'll see how that goes. Now to the game that nobody cares about. This week we're going to go for the game that no one cares about. King Dinglings and unsolicited Dak Picks. The reason why I picked this one, no one cares about it, is because Dak Picks was putting up some decent points. However, they decided that their season is over. For now, it looks like they're tanking it in and just going to build for next year. They traded Tyreek Hill. But let's go check out the lineups. So without Tyreek Hill here on the board, we got he's probably going to be starter for King Dinglings, which is why I'm saying that, I don't know. I don't really know. I'm just assuming they're going to destroy him. Those points are going to drop for unsolicited. He'll probably be projected around 100 points, and Dongers will probably jump up to about 180. So we'll see how that goes. And now, upset of the week. This week, I'm going to go with an upset. We got a 2-0 team versus an 0-2 team, and I'm going to pick upset. Poop Deck over Team Michael Michaels. We check over here at the lineups. Right now, Team Michael Michaels is projected to win by 10 points. I don't know. Drake London had a good game last week. I don't know if he can recreate it, but we'll see. Walker should have a solid outing. Brown, maybe. Cowboys defense has been playing really well. Michael Michaels has a dangerous lineup, but I don't know. Something is telling me in my gut that Poop Deck is going to upset. And now we're going to go to our special guest, the trade expert. Let me talk to you, brother. There were some epic trades this week. We had 3 involving unsolicited Dak picks. And as you can see, I did dye my beard black. But the first trade involved Jaeger Bombs unsolicited Dak picks. Jaden Reed went to Jaeger Bombs for Jalen Warren. Also a 3rd round pick went. Grade on this one, even. Both teams did pretty well. The other trade was unsolicited Dak picks and blue ballers. Sean Tucker and Gus Edwards were involved. A 3rd round pick also went to blue ballers. Grade on this one, benefited both sides. Sorry, I need to fix my bandana a minute. The other trade that went down was unsolicited Dak picks and King Dinglings. I'm going to have to look at this one. Unsolicited Dak picks received DJ Moore, Quentin Johnson, and Cam Akers in a future first. That 1st round pick could be good because unsolicited Dak picks is not well. It should, in theory, be a top 5 at the very worst. Quentin Johnson, I was high on him. I thought a lot of teams should have drafted him. However, he does give me scary Roy Williams, Kevin White, those kind of vibes. We'll see how it goes with him. Cam Akers, I'm not 100% sure on that one. I really thought Cam Akers was going to be done. He went to the Vikings. We'll see how it goes. I'm definitely not high on that one. Tyreek Hill, best player right now in fantasy. I don't know. It makes the Dinglings seem like they're unstoppable at the moment. We'll see how it goes. I know he said he might retire in a year or 2. We'll see. Anyways, Hulk Hogan is done. That was my trade analysis. I say King Dinglings won that one. I think the other ones were pretty even. Don't forget, guys, train, eat your vitamins, and say your prayers. Well, thank you for all that knowledge, trade expert. That was some very expertise. And now, we're going to go over to, drum roll, please. Thank you. And we're going to go to the game of the week. Game of the week this week is going to be between Blue Ballers and Soldier Fields. Why is it the game of the week? Both teams desperately need this win. Blue Ballers are 1-1, Soldier Fields are 1-1. They're both sitting at 8-9 respectively. But both teams have some pretty solid teams. Hurts, Pollard, Stevenson could go off. Lamar Jackson, Michael Pittman's been playing well. Aaron Jones looks like, at least as of now, he's healthy. Najee Harris, is this the week that he's finally going to turn things around? I'm not really sure on this one. This one's a tight matchup, but I am going to go with Soldier Fields in a tight one, 131 to 128. Now we're going to go to a segment called How to Build the Perfect Dynasty. Step 1, especially if you're a team that's struggling, you need to be playing the waiver wire every single week. You should be checking your lineups at least 5 minutes every day. It's not that hard if you want to be a team that has a chance every year. You can build phenomenal lineups just by using the free agent wire. I know it doesn't seem like that because there are a lot of players it doesn't seem like they're going to do anything for you. However, every week, just case in point, after week 1, King Dinglings picked up Nakua. What did he do? He went off. Right before the season started, Deuce Dre picked up Carryon Williams to back up Cam Akers. What happened? 2 weeks into the season, Carryon Williams is the second best back right now in football. Another method you can use is something that I like to do. When you have a really solid running back who runs a lot, or even just other teams, I get, especially for my bench, one of the methods I like to do is get the team's backup running back. Because when that guy goes down, you now got a starting running back. So even though I had Nick Chubb, I made sure I had Jerome Ford because Nick Chubb was my most valuable running back. He went down, and Jerome Ford went off last week. Yeah, maybe he doesn't the rest of the season, but I have that option. Another option is trading. Be smart with your trades. Be patient with your trades. Don't just trade to trade. Make sure every single trade you do is a move to better your team. Think about the future. If your team that's struggling and you don't really have a chance, that might be the spot to start trading some of your veteran players to get young key talents. You can go case in point me last year with Jamar Chase. I held out till around Thanksgiving because I thought I had a chance for the playoffs, but I made sure the last minute. Once it got to the end, King Dinglings got desperate because they wanted to make sure that they tried to solidify themselves as champion. So I ended up getting a bunch of first and second round picks, and everyone laughed and said, wow, I'm scamming the system. But let me just go look at my roster real quick. Let me show you something real quick. What I was able to do with those picks that everyone laughed at. One of those picks that I received ended up being the 3rd overall pick this year. I got Jamar Gibbs with that pick. Another pick I got from that trade was the... Which one was it? It was a first-round pick in next year's draft. That's what it was. I swapped that pick with Tickle My Pickle for this year, which ended up being the 11th overall. I also received Sky Moore. With that 11th overall pick, I picked Roshan Johnson, which is probably going to be a starter by, could be midseason, could be the end season. I received numerous offers from multiple teams trying to get Roshan Johnson, and I drafted him 11 overall. The other pick was 13th overall. What did I do with that pick? I received a Jonathan Mingo. He's a toss-up. I mean, who knows? But he is their youngest receiver, and the thing about him that I liked about him that he is from Ole Miss. He is literally a clone of A.J. Brown and DK Metcalf. So we'll see. And if you don't believe me on DK and A.J., just go look at previous drafts. DK and A.J. were both drafted late 2nd round in our drafts. And so we'll see about that. The other pick I received was a late 2nd round pick. That one I flipped into next year. Swapped with Tickle My Pickle. But then ultimately, I ended up using that pick as part of a package to get Deebo Samuel. I also used my other first-round pick from next year that I had to get DK Metcalf in a package. And I also traded numerous young talents. So, in a weird kind of way, I mean, not a weird kind of way, I mean, it's facts. I mean, the picks and stuff that I used to trade Chase, I got, let me see, sorry. I'm stuttering on my words to make this longer than I wanted it to be. But my point is that by trading Chase, I was able to get Gibbs, Deebo Samuel, DK Metcalf, Sky Moore, Jalen Warren, Jonathan Mingo, Roshan Johnson, and I ended up just flipping Jalen Warren for Jaden Reed and a future 3rd. Another trade I made recently was I traded Cam Akers for the 5th overall pick. That was the one I also received Jalen Warren for. I received Jalen Warren in the 5th for Cam Akers. What did I do with the 5th? I dropped down a couple spots to 7, or to 8, I mean, and I also picked up a 3rd round. I got Addison, and I got Michael Mayer from that. Mayer, not right now. Maybe he'll be better, I don't know. But Addison has been one of the best young rookies in this draft class, just from dropping down a couple spots. So, all I'm saying is be patient, be smart. You never know. Yeah, my team right now is not putting up 160, 170 points like Dinglings, Took My Pickle, some of these other teams. But from top to bottom, it's hard to debate that my team is not one of the best teams in the league right now, from top to bottom. And there's a reason why I keep getting trade offers for all of my young receivers, all of my young running backs that I just drafted. But I'm not trading them right now. And the reason is because, case in point, forgot his name, Nick Chubb, getting hurt. I have solid depth. I have 3 running backs right now that are starters. I have 5 receivers that are starters. If I have Devo just got hurt, he might miss next week, but I'm fine because I can replace him. I have DK sitting out this week because he's nursing ribs. But now I can put DK back in my lineup next week. I got a pretty deep team right now, so in theory I should be putting up weeks and weeks and weeks. Look at King Dinglings. Yes, they just traded for Tyreek Hill. But let's go look at his roster real quick, just for example. He's putting up 170, 180. He got a very scary team. But if you look at his team, he's got Kelsey. That is one of the difference makers. He's got Josh Allen. That is a difference maker. He got Christian McCaffrey. That is a huge difference maker. But look at his running backs. He's got Christian McCaffrey, Rashad White, Tony Jones Jr., Breece Hall, and Kendre Miller. Yes, he has Jonathan Taylor on the injury reserve. Who knows where he's going to be, what he's going to do, if he's going to play this year. I don't know. If McCaffrey has an injury history, if he goes down, who's he going to play this week? Kendre Miller, who hasn't played 1 game. Bryce Hall looked pretty good in week 1. Didn't do anything in week 2. Who knows about his injury situation? He's very weak at running back. He could easily, if he goes down 2, yes, he has all these options to trade in the bag. So that's smart, and maybe he'll use one of those eventually to get some more running back depth. Take My Pickle's another one. He is a little weak at running back. Most of the teams are weak at running back. That's the thing. He has Etienne, Robinson, and that's it, because Saquon Barkley went down. Etienne is another guy, phenomenal running back, but he does have an injury history. If he goes down, who's going to play at running back? Yeah, he can play Matt Breida, who performed pretty well. He got 10 points. So, point is I'm saying is try to be smart about this. Like, think of different options. Build a young roster. If you build, when I started doing this rebuild a year and a half ago, I only traded for draft picks or players that were 24 and younger, so that when I built my roster in a year and a half to 2 years, I would have a solid team. And then once I got that roster where I felt it was comfortable, then I traded for the one veteran, Devo Samuel. He's the only dude on my roster that's over 25, except for Hayden Hurst, because I'm just not a big believer in tight ends. I just feel that tight ends, this is just my own personal preference, but unless you have Kelsey, maybe Andrews, this year Hawkinson especially, tight ends are all about the same. That's just my opinion. Everyone has their own opinion on that. But anyways, that's just my 2 cents. Take it for what it's worth. You can either take it or leave it. I don't know. I think my resume speaks for itself. I've been to 4 title games in 9 years. I've had 3 of the worst teams in 9 years, but I've been able to rebuild within a year, year and a half, just by using these smart moves. This, to me, I finally decided I'm not going to just rebuild quickly. I'm going to rebuild for sustainability, and that's where I feel like I am right now. Also, every time I make a move, I look at my team and I'm like, okay, I have 8 running backs. I have 7 running backs. I have 8 receivers. I have 7 receivers. What do I have? What am I going to keep next year? I don't just make a move to make a move. I look a year in advance. Who am I going to keep right now? I have 13 lists of keepers that I want to keep. But then when I make a move, I think, am I trading for this guy so that I can move him down the road? Or am I trading for this guy because I want to keep him? Am I trading for this guy because he's just a wild card? I think he'll be good, so I'm willing to dump a third for this guy just to take a chance. I had a little depth at running back. That was why I chose to trade Warren. Honestly, he was just going to sit on my bench. I would never play him unless I got super desperate. I was really high on him, but I felt like for what I had and everything and thinking into the future, this would be a perfect time to trade him, pick up a receiver that could possibly turn into a legit receiver that I can use to either trade down the road, or I could keep him, depending on how it works. So, anyways, again, this is probably a really long video. Overkill. but I felt like it needed to be said, and I'm just gonna say it. So, hope you enjoyed today's show, and we'll see you next week on A Shot of Whiskey Live. Maybe we'll have a few more guests. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Power rankings.